The cabin lights were dim, the plane humming like a lullaby, when a voice cracked through the speakers and changed everything. "Ladies and gentlemen," the captain said, steady but strained, "is there a combat pilot on board?" In seat 8A, a single dad slept with his head tilted toward the window, his jacket folded just right to keep warm. He had no idea that kindness, quiet, ordinary kindness, was about to wake up and take flight. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartfelt stories that remind us how powerful simple kindness can be, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment below. It truly helps the channel grow. You're watching story of pure kindness, and your support means the world. The man in seat 8A was named Daniel Reed. He was 38, tired in the way only single parents know, and flying home to Denver after a work trip that ran too long. His son, Noah, was 6 years old and waiting with Daniel's sister for one more night. Daniel hated being away from Noah. He missed bedtime stories, missed the way Noah's hand searched for his in the dark. Daniel had been in the Air Force once. A long time ago now. He flew jets, learned discipline, learned how to stay calm when everything inside you wanted to panic. But that life ended after his wife, Emily, got sick. After she passed, Daniel left the service to be present for Noah. He traded cockpits for carpools and flight suits for school drop-offs. He didn't regret it for a second. The plane was cruising at 35,000 feet when a sudden jolt rattled the cabin. Drinks trembled in cup holders. A baby cried. The engines didn't sound wrong exactly, but different. The seatbelt sign flashed on. Daniel stirred but didn't wake. He'd barely slept in days. Then came the captain's announcement. The words, "Combat pilot," cut through the cabin like a blade. Heads turned. Murmurs spread. A few people laughed nervously, thinking it might be a joke. It wasn't. A flight attendant moved quickly down the aisle, her face pale but professional. She scanned faces, hoping. Daniel's eyes opened. Not fully at first. Just enough to register tension in the air, the strange stillness. He sat up as the announcement replayed in his mind. Combat pilot. His heart thudded. He looked around. No one was standing. A businessman clutched his briefcase. A woman squeezed her husband's hand. Fear hung heavy, unspoken. Daniel hesitated. He hadn't flown anything faster than a rental car in 10 years. He wasn't current. He wasn't a hero. He was just a dad who packed lunches and forgot where he put his keys. But kindness doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. He raised his hand. The flight attendant's eyes locked onto him, relief washing over her face. "Sir," she whispered. "I flew fighters," Daniel said quietly. "A while back." She nodded and gestured for him to follow. As they moved toward the cockpit, Daniel felt every step. Thoughts raced. What if he wasn't enough? What if he made things worse? Then he pictured Noah's grin, missing front tooth and all, and steadied his breathing. Inside the cockpit, the captain turned, eyes sharp and tired. "Thank God," he said. "We've got an instrument issue. Autopilot kicked off, and we're dealing with turbulence we didn't expect. I don't need you to fly. I just need another trained set of eyes." Daniel slipped into the jump seat. The instruments glowed familiar and foreign all at once. Muscle memory stirred. He listened, watched, and offered calm observations. He noticed a pattern in the readings, suggested a reset sequence he remembered from training. The first officer followed it carefully. Minutes passed. The turbulence eased. The plane steadied. No cheers. No applause. Just the quiet hum returning to normal. "Nice catch," the captain said, exhaling. That helped. Daniel nodded, hands shaking just a little now that the adrenaline faded. "Glad I could." As he returned to his seat, passengers looked at him differently. Some smiled. One woman mouthed, "Thank you." A teenager gave a thumbs up. Daniel sat back down, heart still racing, and closed his eyes. He didn't feel brave. He felt human. The rest of the flight passed without incident. When they landed, the captain came on the intercom again. "Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank a passenger for his assistance today. A former Air Force pilot helped us troubleshoot a situation. Because of him, we got home safely." Applause filled the cabin. Daniel sank into his seat, embarrassed and touched all at once. As people disembarked, a man stopped by Daniel's row. "My wife hates flying," he said. "You helped more than you know." A young mom held her baby closer. Thank you, she whispered. Daniel smiled, unsure what to say. Just doing what anyone would, he replied, though he knew that wasn't quite true. In the terminal, Daniel checked his phone. A message from his sister waited. No's still awake. Says he wants to tell you something. Daniel called immediately. No's voice burst through the speaker. Dad, did you know planes can wiggle in the sky? Daniel laughed, eyes burning. They sure can, buddy. Are you home now? Almost, Daniel said. I'll be there soon. That night, as Daniel tucked Noah into bed, his son looked up at him with wide eyes. Auntie said you helped a plane today. Daniel paused. I helped some people feel safer. Noah nodded. Serious. That's kind. The word settled into Daniel's chest, warm and true. Kindness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a hand raised when you're unsure. Sometimes it's stepping forward even when you're tired, even when you doubt yourself. Sometimes it's using what you know, not for praise, but for people. Weeks later, Daniel received a letter from the airline. A thank you note. A voucher he'd probably forget to use. He pinned the note on the fridge anyway, next to No's crayon drawings. Life went on. Work, school, laundry, bedtime stories. No headlines. No medals. But Daniel noticed something had shifted. He was quicker to help a neighbor carry groceries. More patient in traffic. Kinder to himself on hard days. He understood now that kindness, once given, has a way of growing. And somewhere, on that plane, dozens of people carried the memory of a stranger who stood up when it mattered. Not because he had to, but because he could. That's how kindness works. One quiet choice. One human moment. Rippling outward, farther than we'll ever see. So if you're tired, if you doubt your value, remember seat 8A. Remember that even in ordinary lives, extraordinary kindness can rise when the moment calls. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you hear a call for help, big or small, you'll know exactly what to do. Because kindness is always on board.